Hi Chef, we would like to talk and share some great content on managing waste in your kitchens. It's such an important topic and even more relevant now where we view food is cash. Food is our currency. We handle it right, it helps us to survive, be successful and profitable. We waste it, it's just money we are throwing in the bin. That's why we have a set of videos to help you manage this in your kitchen. There's also a link on this page to our UFS Academy, made by chefs for chefs. So visit our website and sign up to get some free culinary training from experts. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Richard Green. I'm the Regional Executive Chef for AD&H Compass in the UAE. I have a career spanning 35 years, which includes companies such as Ritz-Carlton, Peninsula Hotels, Rosewood Hotels. I've worked on every continent on Earth except for Antarctica because there's no hotel there yet. And at one stage was the tour chef for Pink Floyd. In those 35 years, I've had a lot of experience throughout kitchens, and it's given me a vast knowledge in what food waste is in production and in kitchens. So I want to talk to you today about food waste and the importance of it. Fundamentally, food waste is money. It's money that's going into a garbage bin, going into a compactor, or basically going down the drain. So what we're hoping to do with this series is to show you and enlighten you on food waste to help you save costs, not only costs for the companies, but sustainability. Food waste is a very, very large footprint because we're disposing of this food waste into landfill, and that landfill is getting bigger and bigger. Our goal is to help reduce that food waste by implementing new strategies and recipes and ways to bring that mountain down and make it smaller. Good waste management relies on good control points. One of those control points is a waste audit. Conducting a waste audit in a kitchen is very simple. You need to create the waste audit form first. A waste audit is a control point, so look at the areas of waste that you want to control. Some of the waste audit points could be checking garbage bins, checking the wastage sheets in the kitchen. PPE in some instances, like blunt knives, can add to wastage, so maybe adding those to your audit sheet. What you would need to do first is you'd need to establish what your actual waste in your kitchen is. You need to then decide how much waste you want to reduce, or what is your target that you want to bring down. So for example, if I was running at a 4% waste in my kitchen and I wanted to reduce that by 2% and have a 2% waste, I would then look at the major areas within the kitchen that are contributing to the waste. The two major areas in a kitchen or a restaurant or a hotel are your production waste and your plate waste. Your plate waste comes from your guest, which is a lot harder to control. So you would look at your production waste. Part of that production could be the preparation, the mise en place, the storage. A lot of big operations will batch cook or cook in advance, whether there's a blast chiller on the property, whether they're cooking everything to order. All those things would come into account in regards to your audit and how you would set it up. To have an effective audit, you would initially do it once a week. It's good to do almost like a mystery shopper where the chefs don't know when the audit's going to be done. After you establish your 2% drop, you would then do it twice a month just to make sure that those control measures are still in place. Waste is about control measures, and those control measures need to be strong and in place. And if they're not being followed and they're not being adhered to, then you're not going to be able to reduce your waste. Effective purchasing is very important in helping you to control food waste. Everything from the moment of receiving to issuing to the kitchens needs to be tracked, logged and recorded. It's also important to follow seasonal trends, especially with fruits and vegetables, depending on what part of the world you're in. You don't want to be buying fruits or vegetables that are out of season, because these will generally not yield the right amount of product that you want, and you'll end up throwing them in the garbage. Very important part of effective purchasing is making sure that you have a good management system in place for your near expiry and your return to supplier items. Separating these items in your storeroom is a good way to start. Accepting damaged goods will only result in this item being thrown in the garbage. Near expiry items are also important to keep an eye on and track, as any expired items go directly into the bin and are 100% waste. Make sure you're rotating your stock properly to ensure that old stock has been moved to the front and new stock has been put to the back. Just remember that any food that is sitting on a shelf is basically cash sitting on a shelf. It's important to understand your ordering schedule, so suppliers don't all deliver at the same time. You need to ensure that with your market list that the team in the kitchen is aware of what's arriving on what day, so that they can be prepared to distribute it. You need to understand what is trending and what is not trending. You need to use data that you have on hand to identify items that need to be removed from menus prior to them being removed. You need to notify your stores department so they can reduce that stock on hand. Identifying and understanding what your par levels are very important. This should come from the kitchen to the store. And how you get about what those par levels are is you should always have some stock on hand in the kitchen, and then you should have your par level in your store. This will depend on how many deliveries of that item you can get a week, the availability of it. Some items may come from overseas, so you will need a higher par level, and some things are local where you'll need a lower par level.
Hi, my name is Santosh Shetty. I'm the Operation Manager at New York University. I work for AD&H campus. On day-to-day basis, we have stock counting, and then we have a cost controller who verifies it next morning, checks it, what sold, what was not sold, why it was not sold, why there is a variance. Do we need to change any product range in the operation to make it more profitable? We are in an environment with younger generation, so we look at the trends, what kids like it or students like it in the market. So example trends like we came to know about acai, which is a superfood. And so we evaluated the market, looked around what our competitors are offering, and we saw that yes, it is a profitable investment, so we brought in acai. And trust me, it is working very well. We have a marketing team who looks into the market, who goes to the different websites, try to understand what concepts are coming up, what is feasible to do it in this country, do a quick calculation, what's going to help us, is it going to achieve our budget, is it going to achieve our food cost, is it going to produce more food wastage. We have a menu engineering system at the back of the house where we evaluate all the menus. Then we check with the chef, is it moving? We then speak to our clients also, where we do surveys, where we ask about their feedbacks. Is it worth to do it for the bottom line?
Utilising your trim and your preparation waste will greatly help you reduce costs in your kitchen. For example, in your butchery, the butcher will be trimming salmon, the heads, the tail, The bones can be used for stock to make a salmon chowder. If he's trimming beef fillets, these can also be used for stock or even mince. I like to think of the butchery and the commissary as the bank of the kitchen because they hold all the money. So if you can reduce these preparation and trim wastes in these areas, you're going a long way to helping you reduce cost. When you're planning a menu, it's very important to be mindful of where you are, to be mindful of what is available in the market, and then to try and utilise the same ingredient, not just once, but a few times throughout your menus. It's good to incentivise your own chefs, make a competition out of it. Get the chef who comes up with the best idea on how to utilise the preparation or trim waste, maybe certificate, maybe make them chef of the week to help you minimise this waste. Plate waste in an operation, it is by far the highest percentage of waste in any kitchen, sometimes outstripping production waste by 10%. The reason for this is it comes off the guest plate. We know that we eat with our eyes, so generally if the food is good, we tell ourselves that we're very hungry, and when we get back to our table, we realise we're not so hungry. The other factor to it could be that we're giving too big a portion on the plate if we're serving the guest. The ways to control this are by putting an example plate of what a portion is on a buffet so the guest can see this is an example portion. It also helps the chefs to define what is a weighted portion with the protein, the starch and the vegetable. Put less, encourage them to come back for seconds if they're still hungry. You can put up visual aids that tell the guest how much waste is going in the garbage bin every day or every week. You can then say to the guest that if they reduce that by 50%, that you'll give them free ice cream for a day and incentivise them to reduce that waste. It's also good to show without being offensive what the plate waste is. At the end of the day, we're all responsible for waste, even the guest. If you start seeing the same food coming back all the time, this could be down to the taste of the food. It could be that the guests are not happy with that selection of the menu. And a good way to help reduce this is by doing food tastings before service, making sure you have recipes in place, that the chefs are following the recipes, and that you're also adding this to your audit and making sure that it's being checked every day. So we need to make sure, from a culinary point of view, that we are making sure that the food tastes good, the food is fresh, the food is palatable, and it's to the guest's expectation. It's important to understand how many people you're catering to. The rule of thumb with a buffet is 10%. If you've got 100 people, you cater to 110, 105 to 110. A good way to reduce waste on buffets is to batch cook, which means you're cooking based on hourly periods. So if you have a lunch buffet that goes for 4 hours, you would cook 11:30 for 12 o'clock, 12:30 for 1 o'clock, 1:30 for 2 o'clock, and so on. You also look at the history of your restaurant. You would know when the peak times are and when the drops in the restaurant rush happen. And this is what you should be matching your batch cooking to. If you don't have the ability to batch cook because you don't have a blast chiller or regen ovens, then it's very important that you follow your production sheets and your production plan. Where your restaurants require you to have the buffet go right till the end of the meal period, you can also reduce the size of the containers you're serving the food in towards the end of service so that it's not empty, you're just doing a half GN tray instead of a full GN tray, which still serves the guests without having that full GN tray waste at the end of service.